What's up, guys? It's 2018, and that can mean only one thing. MLB The Show 18, Ramon Russell is back.
Yep.
And we're going to go through some new features.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into it.
We're going to get right into it. You know what we're going to talk about today?
I'm not sure. I'm in the dark here.
We're going to talk about a little bit of stuff, a lot of stuff. So you've seen the trailer, which just came out, right? And I showed you all of the really cool stuff that we kind of hid in that trailer.
I got a behind the scenes look.
So
yeah.
by the time you guys see this, the trailer will be out and it'll all make sense. So today what we're going to talk about in this visit is gameplay. Gameplay's king. Also, before we jump into gameplay, Road to the Show is going to be amazing this year. We've done a lot of big changes to Road to the Show, but we're not going to talk about today.
Can't share any of that just yet.
Can't share that today.
Okay.
Today we're going to talk about gameplay. So why gameplay? Well, you know, what's baseball, right? Pitching, hitting, fielding, catching, and throwing, right? That's the core pillars of a baseball game. So we've spent a lot of developmental resources this year on working on those core systems. For instance, our tagging engine has been completely rewritten from the ground up.
Right.
Nothing from last year's tagging engine is in the game this year. That should make a lot of our fans happy because we had a few issues in our tagging engine. And so what we did was Jeff Ullman, who wrote the base runner code and the base runner logic, he rewrote the entire tagging system. It kind of makes sense, right? The guy who wrote the base runner logic should probably rewrite the tagging logic too, right? And so what that has allowed us to do is, you know, before in any other MLB The Show game, the fielder who had the ball, who was trying to tag a player out, he didn't quite have the spatial awareness of what the other guy was trying to do. Correct. He was just trying to tag him. He didn't know if he was running. He didn't know if he was sliding. Now he knows those things. So when the ball's in play and the fielder has the ball, he knows what the runner's trying to do. If he sees that he's going for a dive, it's like, oh, this guy's diving. I need to try to tag him here. Oh, he's running away from me. I need to try to tag him here. So all of our tags now are all contextual. And so what that does is, one, the gameplay is a lot smoother. It looks a lot better, and it looks a lot more realistic, and it cuts out a lot of exploits that you saw in previous versions of the game. Oh, nice catch. Let's go.
And these tagging kind of updates apply to all bases.
All bases. First base,
first, home,
second, third, every single base. Like, this is, like, the tagging system was such a big core rewrite. It's something that you're going to see take place by the 5th game that you've played, the 3rd game that you've played. Right. When you're 100 games in, you're going to continue to see just how good our tagging system is. Because the thing is, with sports games, because we have real-life reference to go off of, if it doesn't look right, you immediately notice. So that's one of the big core rewrites. Another big core gameplay thing is, since we're talking about tagging, catchers. You know, our catchers couldn't quite get up out of their crouches fast enough to deal with runners trying to advance bases, or when there's a pass ball that doesn't quite shoot 50 feet away from them. Right. So now you'll see, and you'll see this in the trailer too, like there's a few scenes of the catcher exploding out of his stance and getting to that ball. And last year you could probably take second base. Because of a few of the exploits there, those are all gone. The catchers are going to get up, they're going to get the ball, and they're going to fire it out. So you won't be able to do kind of the weird stuff that you did last year.
So now there's a chance of gunning runners out. It's
there's not a chance. If you try to do something that's unrealistic that you wouldn't see in a real baseball game, like advancing from first to second on a pass ball that's like right in front of the catcher, you're going to get thrown out. Okay. You're going to get thrown out. Same thing with if a ball does make it past the catcher and makes it to the backstop, you know, the pitcher's got to cover home, right? Right. So we've worked on a lot, you know, our lead animator, Chris Clemens, Chris Guild, our lead gameplay lead. What they've done is made sure that we have enough animations for the pitcher to be able to handle those situations where he's covering home and he needs to tag somebody out. So you won't see as much frustration there as well. Right. That goes to more, like with the gameplay, and what you're going to see is it's so much smoother. Our guys are so much more efficient. They do things so much faster. And they're able to get rid of the ball even faster than they could last year. And it makes a huge change on the game. That was a nice little, was that Correa?
Ooh, Giancarlo, though.
Is that correct, Carl? You're going to be happy this year being a Yankees fan, aren't you?
It's going to be a great year. It's going to be great. We can use one more starting pitcher.
One more starting pitcher?
But then I'd be spoiled. So, you know what?
You got, you know, dude's going to hit 200 home runs between the three of them. So
we'll see.
I don't think so. I'm just throwing this ball down the middle because I want to get some action. I want to see some balls put in play. So speaking of animations, you know, the catcher we have over 100 new animations for the catcher and everything that's going around when he can't take care of a ball and it gets past him, or it just dribbles right in front of him. So he has new animations. We've added a lot of new animations for, again, the pitcher covering home. And we've always tried to fill holes where we think we were kind of weak in years past, and I think we've continued that trend on this year. And that goes with everything. That's a nice little hit.
That's a nice hit.
Speaking of hitting, really big topic. You know, last year was a huge update for us. We're going to our new physics engine with ball spin and all that stuff. We've continued to refine that. It's something that was a big focus for us. Like, we have hitting play tests every single day. All the design team, everybody in QA, like from 3:30 to 5, we go in a room and we all just play the game and give notes and feedback. Like, okay, this isn't kind of feeling right. We're not getting enough singles. We're not getting enough doubles. And that's something that we're gonna continue to do till we finish the game. So we're really, really happy where hitting is now, but we're gonna continue to try to make it better before we ship the game. So something that guys have probably noticed since we've been playing is we've updated the swing analysis box. So now on certain swings, you'll actually see this 3D slide out.
In the bottom right.
See it in the right or left, depending on the hand that's better. So there it is. So that is in real time what your swing did. Like, that's where the ball was in 3D space. That's where the bat is in 3D space. So that's all one-to-one.
So you can really come to understand how late you were, how early.
Understand, like, did I really get that ball, or was I under it? How early was I? And that's something that Lance has been working on all year, and it's starting to shape up pretty well.
I mean, it looks fantastic. I know last year was maybe a major focus on the looks of each player and kind of whether it was how their faces looked, how their stances were, whatnot. Can you talk about what kind of is the overhaul, the real main focus of this year's show?
Absolutely. So last year was like the faces, right? You know, we overhauled our entire face system. Yeah. This year it's the uniforms, right? You know, a few years back the stadiums got all the love. Then the faces got the love. And then along with the faces, you know, we had the body scale sliders that we had. This year it's all about the uniforms. So our physically based rendering system that we brought to the stadiums and all of those aspects, like the metal and the padding, that's now came over to the uniforms.
Right. So
when you see close-ups of the uniforms, they're going to look so much better. The stitching looks fantastic, and our character team and all of the artists have done a fantastic job really making the uniforms pop.
Right.
Also, when we eventually start talking about Creative Player, there's a few other updates there too as well in the graphics department. You'll see a little bit of that in the trailer as well.
Yes, you will. Can't really mention it, but you'll see a little something.
You'll see something. There's a lot of stuff in the trailer that we think our biggest fans will be able to pick up on, and then the stuff that people miss, we'll definitely re-elaborate on.
I know
what am I swinging at?
You mentioned a little earlier about kind of stadium atmosphere. Obviously, that was an overhaul a couple games back, but has there been anything done to kind of update the stadium?
Oh, absolutely. Crowd, ambiance, presentation, commentary, those are big areas of focus this year. So we're not ready to talk about presentation and commentary, but Kirby St. John and Michael Compton and Ross, they've been working like crazy, and I think people are really going to like what they've done.
Right.
So specifically about the crowds, one, we've doubled our crowd animations. So now what you're going to see people like, they're going to be taking sips out of cups. They're going to be on the phone, which seems to be this thing we do in society a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to see more people getting up. Our attendance logic is now really, really close one-to-one to what you'll see in real life. And this is all data that we've gotten from the MLB. So like the Dodgers fans tends to show up a little bit later to games because you know LA traffic.
Right.
That's going to happen in the game. In this game we're playing right here, it's a full, like it's a sellout, right? If we start getting blown out by the 6th or the 7th inning, the crowd is going to start to leave. And these are some things that really make like Road to the Show and season modes that much better because you see how dynamic the crowd is.
And that like addition of realisticness is something that really stands out too, I feel like, because the stadium's not going to be full in the bottom of the 9th if you're losing like crazy.
Yeah, if you're losing like 21 to 3, everybody's going to be going home.
And I also noticed in the trailer, but also we can kind of see it here over in right field. It looks like the cover athlete.
Yeah, got the judges' chambers.
The judges' chambers is in the game. Oh, is this going into the judges' chamber?
It's going out though.
Oh, it's close.
It went out. Let's look at this swing analysis and see what I did here.
That was close. Ooh, into the bat.
Into the bat. Muscled that out.
But yeah, that's convenient. We were talking about that, and you just saw a little bit of the judges' chambers.
There's going to be a lot of home runs hitting the stadium. That's a guess. That's just a wild guess.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one of our new cameras. So what's cool about this camera is it'll trigger on some home runs and foul balls, so you kind of won't know exactly which one it is.
Right. And how many of these new camera angles have been added? Is there...
So for I think we added about 5 new batting cameras, and we added cameras based on the cameras that we saw a lot of people were using, so we tried to give a little bit more granularity there. You're going to see a lot of new cameras in the presentation aspect of the game. Again, won't talk about that too much. One thing I will tell you is, Kirby and the guys have done a lot of job with replays, the commentary stuff that I can't really talk about that. But I think people are going to be happy.
We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Very soon. Very soon. I don't know when, but we'll find out soon.
You'll find out soonish.
I'm in the dark as much as everybody else that's watching this right now.
There's a lot we have to talk about. There's this really cool new feature which we're going to make another video of that'll come out a little bit after this one. And this is a feature that people have been asking for years. Like, this is one of the really, really cool features that people have asked for. We've also done a lot of work with franchise mode. We have this thing called phases, which we won't talk about yet. Yep. So franchise mode has phases. Road to the show, Steve Merker and the designers have done a really, really awesome job of really refreshing Road to the show and giving it that love. Because that was some of the feedback we heard last year was, tagging's not great. The catcher can't really, play his position the way he should be playing. When are you guys going to overhaul Road to the show? And so this year, all those big major focuses of ours are things that the community kind of thought we should focus on. The same things we thought we should focus on. So we think people are going to be really excited about the game this year.
I mean, any group of fans that kind of get the developers to focus on things that they really want in the game, I think is really fantastic.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we want to make the best and most enjoyable baseball game as well. Like, we're on the same team. Yeah. We don't want the game to have exploits or to have weak areas, and I think that's something we've done a pretty decent job of in the past. Is every single year, okay, where were we weak last year, or what is the feature that people really wanted, and we think people are going to see that again this year.
And I'm sure that any concerns that players have is probably the same concerns that you guys have as the developers of the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some things are a lot easier to do than others. Some things may take 2 or 3 years for us to work on the back end, but we tend to get the things when we can. So we also just saw something that we teased in the trailer. We now have the mouth guards for the helmets. We also have some new accessories. Can't give you what all of them are, but we have some new accessories and brands and categories there.
So Springer, and I think is it Correa that has the mouth? Does Springer have it too?
He might. I know a lot of guys started wearing
back-to-back jacks.
Yeah, back-to-back jacks. And I'm just laying it in here so we can get some gameplay. Oh, good. Swing timing good. Contact result good. So pitching's a little harder. That's something I forgot to mention. It's not a huge difficulty increase, but we kind of felt maybe it was a little bit too easy to pinpoint.
Right.
So you'll see some changes there. Again, hitting, physics, all those things have been tuned. It's something that we'll be working on until we go cold freeze to try to make sure, the hitting engine is as dialed in as it possibly can be. We have hundreds of new fielding animations. And for fielding, outside of what we're trying to do with tags and whatnot, we wanted to fill holes, get some more throws. We wanted to make sure that guys can branch out of things in case you got a guy on first, you got a guy on third. You send the guy at first, and then if he's not paying attention, I'm going to send this guy home. Maybe in last year's game, the second baseman couldn't fire that ball home because he couldn't branch out. You won't have that problem anymore. You can pretty much branch out of anything, and that really cuts down on the exploits that we used to have in the game.
And this will obviously all play into effect when players are playing online as well.
Yeah, a lot of these things were shortcomings that we saw online. Because when you're playing offline, you don't see it because you play normally because the computer will kill you. Or if you're playing against your buddy, just like, hey man, stop it. Like, 'cause he's sitting right there.
Yeah, you're sitting right there.
But when you're in the realm of online, people tend to do, weird stuff.
Anything to win. I guess that's a mentality that's always been around. So
we've also updated the weather. We've redid our fog. We've redid our rain. Also got something interesting to talk about with rain in the future.
Cool. I know last year there was kind of a focus on the field and the grass as well. Were there any updates for kind of those? I think it was shadows last year?
Yeah, so shadows was big. This year we're focusing in on the backdrops for all of the minor league stadiums. I think our stadium team went and looked at every single minor league stadium and looked at those backdrops. I think they redid all of them. Because if you're in the road to the show, you're going to be spending quite a bit of time playing in those minor league stadiums. We really want to take those to the next level. So that's a nice update there. And that's not a nice swing.
Oh, come on, Brett.
It's a terrible swing. I'm going to go to second anyway.
We'll pop up.
So one thing you're not seeing at all, because we don't want to show it, is you're not going to see the new presentation stuff because I'm on fast play. Because we want to keep that stuff close to the chest.
Keep it secret?
Keep it close. Like, we don't want to spoil all the stuff Kirby's been working on just yet. You did see before the last inning, you saw one of our new stadium cutaways where we'll show more blimp views of all of the stadiums. Because our stadiums, they're gorgeous. You know, those guys work really hard. So that's one of the things you'll notice. I'm trying to think, I can't give away too much. I don't want to spoil Kirby's fire. See if I can actually.
I mean, just like it's almost pitchers and catchers, so they're preparing.
They're
you
about
guys
to
are
report.
preparing the game. You're getting ready to report.
We're getting ready to report. Again, like gameplay, core gameplay systems. I'm terrible. I'm striking out. This is such a huge focus this year. You know, pitching, catching, throwing, hitting, all those systems got a lot of love. This is easily the most polished, dialed-in gameplay that we've ever done, and everybody at the studio is really proud about that.
Are there any other gameplay highlights that you can, fill us in on that can be filled in? I'm sure there's a lot of other updates that are coming down the road. Get right to the show.
One of the, like I mentioned before, because we're emulating a real sport, whenever something's off, you always notice. He's like, I saw that on TV, but it's not happening how it's supposed to happen in the game.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time on emotion. So for the pitchers and the hitters, when guys strike out, when they draw a walk, or when the pitcher strikes somebody out, or he gets a call where he's kind of perturbed about it, you'll see they're going to emote a lot more. Right. Guys in the infield will communicate more. Like you'll see, like in the trailer, you saw Trey Turner say, like, it is 2 outs. You're going to see so much more of that going on. There's so much more post-play, what we call idle scenes happening, where guys are going to react appropriately after an out is made. Right. And that's something you'll see, like, oh, that's cool. That's what I saw on TV, and it just makes sense now. Whereas maybe in previous years of the game, after an out, the guy would walk a weird way or he'd do a real gesture. And you'd be like, that doesn't look right, and that takes you out of the immersion of the game.
Yeah. I mean, anything that boosts the realisticness of the presentation.
Mm-hmm. And we like home run swings and bat flips, so we got a lot more of those. All the guys that do them, we tried to recapture them, so we probably added another 25 plus of those.
Okay.
In the creative player editor, there's quite a bit in there. We know Road to the Show is a very popular mode. People like to hit bombs in Road to the Show. We're not creating pictures, so there's so many more animations guys can choose from to be able to show off their personality.
I have some fingers crossed there. You're going to be some deep bombs and toss the bat up in the stands.
Oh, you can do all that. We got all that covered.
Just going the Jose Bautista.
We got you covered. We got you covered.
I'm excited. All right, well, my thanks to you, Ramon, for coming in, showing us all the gameplay updates for the show 18.
Thank you for inviting us.
We are pretty excited to see what else is down the road.
Road to the Show's awesome.
All right, well, we have our fingers crossed, and keep it right here on GameSpot. Very soon, we'll have some details with Ramon again. So we'll see you next time.